Good evening, everyone. Welcome to INNOVATE X, proudly organized by the Microsoft Student Club of Wellassa University. I'm Chamodya Ponsu, and I'm honored to be your host for tonight's exciting session. It's a true honor to meet our speaker once again and dive into the world of Microsoft Azure Storage database capabilities. Now, it's time for the we all been looking forward to. Please join me in welcoming Mrs. Hansamali Gamage, an innovative leader in the tech industry. She is recognized as a Microsoft Most Valuable Professional and honor awarded exceptional technology experts who share their deep knowledge with the community. With over a decade of experiences in software development, she currently serves as a senior developer at Next Technologies in United Kingdom, where she leads software development and architecture projects with a strong emphasis on back-end development, cloud solutions, and DevOps practices. In her impressive career, she has previously held notable positions such as technical lead at CAMS, where she spearheaded the design and deployment of enterprise solutions, senior technical lead at Synergy, and contributed her expertise to global firms like Anywhere 365 and Tikri in senior technical capacities. We are truly privileged to welcome her once again in this evening, and she takes us on a journey through Azure powerful storage and database services. So, without further delay, please give a warm welcome to Mrs. Hansamali Gamage. Madam, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much for that nice introduction, Jamodi. So I will share my screen. Hope everybody can see it.
Yes, madam, we can see the slides.
Thank you, Shamodi. So in today's session, I am just trying to give some light on Azure storage services and the database services that Azure is going to offer. If we take the data, if we take the data that we have seen in today's world is mostly we can categorize into three different areas like this. I guess you guys are familiar with the more structured data that resides usually in a table kind of a place, more structure that follows a strict definition sorry strict definition or schema. And with these strict schema definition, it has defined columns, and on that columns we do have the rows as the data with a defined type and also a size of the data with the definition. So we can take we all are familiar with the SQL databases. So we do have a structured way of storing data in a SQL database. And the other one I am going to explain about is the semi-structured data. As developers, data scientists, and uh, tech enthusiasts, we know about the JSON data files or the data format. So this also not like 100% structured as the structured relational these SQL data based tables, but it's also confirms to a kind of a structure with a hierarchical format. It's rather than a table, we do have a hierarchical format in a JSON data structure like this with scalar values, arrays, and objects. We do have in a semi-structured data something similar to a JSON data store. And then we do have the unstructured data with ones and zeros like the like computer interact instructions when we are pressing a key, like when we are pressing the enter key in our keyboard. So it's going to be converted as into the binary format, so it would be like unstructured. And if we take a photo, if we take a media file, audio, video, or image, or executable file, it's mostly the raw data. It would be the unstructured format. So we have a quite bit of experience with the structured, semi-structured, and the unstructured data. So in terms of data, there's a famous quote that I would like to mention. So now it's the data is going to be the new oil in your organization. So uh, with the data we can do so many of things, like if you are like planning a trip to go to Candy, and you are talking about that with your friend, your phone near in your hand is going to hear about those information. And when you go into a website, or maybe to a Facebook or somewhere, it's going to like suggest you some sites, booking.com sites, to uh, book your stays in Candy. So that's the powerful of the data that we are going to communicate, we are going to store, we are going to transfer from one system to another system. So that's the nature of data that has come into the today's world. So I will. I'm not planning to discuss about the database stuff, that database services that Azure provides to store these more structured or semi-structured data, or the unstructured data. I'm just trying to not to talk more on the database side, but on the other storage services that Azure is going to provide. That's what the aim on this session. So we have talked about the type of data we do have. So if I go more into the storage services that Azure has to store their data, we can categorize as with these five services that's available. So data lake was like previously called as Azure Data Lake, but now it's been added into the storage family that Azure has. So we do have blobs, and obviously for the analytics purpose we do have the data lakes and the Azure file storage, tables, and the queues. So, so if we create the Azure Storage account to store some of whatever the format of data we do have, we can add blobs, we can add files, we can add table, tabular format of data, or we can create a queue inside that storage account. So once we create that, this will be the type of the URL we will be having. So before that I will just go into the type of these storages, like what is the table storage, what's the purpose of Azure queues. Before that I will go into my portal. If you are a student in a university, I hope you know about this. You can have a Azure free subscription, so then you can play with these Azure services we have that's available here. And also this little friend we do have, Azure, the Copilot for Azure, even though for the Windows, so you can get maximum use of that as well. So I'm trying to create a basic Azure storage account. So I'll just go into here, create a resource. I have to go to storage account and click on create, and then we have to select a subscription. And let's say I'm going to create a new resource group, like let's say Colombo architecture. We'll just copy this resource group. I guess you know about these resource groups and what is the storage accounts and the little bit of knowledge you do have. Inside this resource group, we are going to create the storage account. So inside a resource group, it's more like a folder in your file explorer. In a folder, you can have photos, you can have files, you can have some more folders, you can have audio video files. Likewise, in Azure, inside a resource group, you can have database deployed, you can have a storage account, you can have Azure function, you can have your websites deployed as Azure app services. When you don't require that, and you can what you don't have to go into those all the five or six resources available, that you can just delete the resource group, all the 6 7 resources will be gone. So it's we are just using this resource group just to have a better maintenance of the services that we are going to create in the portal. So seems like this is not a valid character, it seems. So I will say Colombo architecture. And with the region, if you have a little bit of understanding on Azure, we are going to deploy, we are going to host this storage account in a machine. Actually, that machine resides in Azure data centers. So we do have, I think, 20 plus Azure regions across the globe, and we can select a region that's closer to us, closer to Colombo. So Southeast Asia is in Singapore, and I think there's another one called East Asia that's in Hong Kong, and we do have some Azure regions in the India zone as well. And I will just stick into the Southeast Asia that resides in Singapore, and I'm just not going to do anything on the primary service and all, and I want just standard performance. I want to go for the like most basic solution without adding any premium features. And also with the redundancy, I will just explain this later. I will just go to the most less expensive redundancy option, that would be the LRS, local redundant storage. I will explain that in detail. I will click on that and click on next. In advanced, we do have some security features that we can have in our storage account. You don't want to upload all your company data and company information and keep it open for everyone. You don't want to do that. You have to have some kind of a security mechanism. So for that, I'm not going to that in detail, but in the demo, we are going to implement two security features for the storage account. And this is about the hierarchical namespace, that's mostly for the Azure Data Lake storage. If you are going to use the storage account to use as a data lake for your analytical purposes, to like to have all type of data feed into there, but we are not going to do that for this demo, so I'm not going to tick that. And the protocols, SFTP protocol, we don't want to use SFTP for this, we are just using the HTTP or HTTPS. And for the access tier, we do have three tiers. uh, this is based on the how frequent you are going to access your data inside this storage account, how frequent you want that. Are you going to read or do any modification to the data that's available in the storage account in every day, like every month, like it's like once or twice in a year? So based on that, if we go with the hot tier, so that means that's optimized for the frequently access. That's going to be less expensive for more frequently accessed data. But when the storage, the volume of the data is getting is going to grow, and you are going to be like charged for that one. So that's why this is hot tier is used mostly for the uh, very frequent accessible data, and but for the less storage. So that's would be we can go with the hot tier. if you have a like backup, like database backups and different versions of files, if you want to store in your storage account, but you are not accessing that really frequently because the backups you don't, we are storing database backups or some backup of the files in case of an emergency. You are not accessing that every day. In case of emergency only you would be accessing. So because, so in that kind of a scenario you can go with the cold tier. That's optimized for rarely accessed data. But in this scenario I will just go in for hot, and it asks me whether I want to have Azure file store capabilities added into the storage account. Yes, I want to do that, so I will just say yes, tick this one, and I will go to next. Under the networking, it asks whether uh, you want to access you want to give the access this of the storage account for the public, whether that means you want to provide the access only for some virtual network, some uh, s- for intra company network, something like that. But for now I'm just saying it's available for everyone. And here also you can add private endpoint, network routing. I'm not going to talk into detail. And this about the data protection, and how you are going to recover your data in case of in case of a failure. And this is about the tracking, access control. I'm not going to do anything for that. And this is about the encryption, whether if you have some secure data available in your company, then obviously you have to encrypt that. But for this one I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to the tags and next. So it's going to show me to which region, in which kind of a tier this is going to be deployed. This will be on standard tier with the locally redundant storage, most less expensive option, and with the hot access tier I will be deploying this, and I will say create. It will be creating in the background. So till that I will go into here. So this is, I will just give you a quick explanation on this. So we can store blobs in our storage. That's mostly the media files. That would be the unstructured data. So we can place those data in a audio video file inside a container, and we can create subcontainers inside that container and put our uh, place our media files. And this is the data lake. The second one, data lake, is like you can store any type of file. This is like massively scalable if you are going to convert this storage account into a data lake store. So it would be, you need that massive scalability because you are going to store so much of so many type of data in there. So this is more suitable for big data analytics. It would be fast, and the it would be fast, and you want to have the uh, some redundancy options also, so that can be incorporated with the as I said, we selected LRS, local redundancy storage. We can, with the redundancy option we can control that. And Azure files, that means if you remember, like 10-15 years back, we had these file shares, some in companies, like in order for you to like apply leaves, to like submit some claims, we do have a file server, file share server. In there you do have all these templates, maybe some interview CVs, the company has got their the interview decisions. Likewise, you did have like kind of file shares. So for that purpose we can use this file server. And so that's also really expandable and fully managed inside the Azure. It's just a file server. So if you want to share, if you want to just store your files, images, your audio, video files, important documents, you can just spin up a storage account, have a file server, and put all of the things inside there. And this Azure table storage is that's semi-structured. When it comes to table storage, it's key value pair. That means type of kind of a JSON based type of a, structure. You can if you have like kind of templates to generate, let's say, emails. So different type of emails you would be creating. If you want to have a JSON structure based on different scenarios, you can create JSON templates inside this kind of Azure table storage and use that from your web application. You want to send a email, or you want to send some message to the finance department. This is how these invoices needs to be done, something like that. So to generate that message, you do have a JSON template. That JSON template we can store in a Azure table storage. So you have your storage account, and you do have some blobs as well, but you want to have some table structured kind of the key value pair kind of structure in the JSON format. You can create Azure table storage inside the same storage account, and keep your JSON files there. And the queues, so the Azure queues we are using in mostly, so it's a famous buzzword is like mostly the microservices. So if you have a distributed architecture in your application, something like this, let's say uh, you do have a e-commerce web application, mm, let's say AliExpress. So in there, uh, you do have you when you log into AliExpress, you have the menu that these are the items, maybe these items are available. So we can so in that item, if you just take item, we do have the item details and price and the colors and the all of the things, and you do have some seasonal discounts in there. For that item, you do have the item information, and you do have the seasonal discounts, and on top of that we do have some loyalty customer discounts as well. So let's assume those are like three different entities: item details, seasonal based discounts, and the loyalty customer discounts. So all these, if you think about these in terms of a relational database, you want to have three tables, and you do have a key to map that. But if you want to show up the menu, the item catalog in AliExpress, you want to do a join between these three tables and get the data based on the user that. So if I'm a loyalty customer and this is the Christmas season, I will be getting loyalty customer plus my seasonal benefits. In order to show that, you want to have a SQL join query. So it's not very cost effective. So what you can do is you can go for a document based database, like a relational, a non-relational database. So in there you do have the item in the document. That's a document based database. You do have the item. In the same document you have the seasonal discount information, and the loyalty customer discount information is available in the document database. So you do have the web application, and you do have the document database there, MongoDB, with some Cassandra DB, or something that can be on that can be residing on prem or Azure. So you do have that. But when now I log into the AliExpress and I want to make a order, I just add some items into my basket, I check out and I paid, and I want to get the invoice. To handle those handle that transaction, we can't it's difficult to use the document database because you want to check whether the stock is available, in which places that stock will be available. You want to reduce the item, the number of with the quantity that I have bought. So likewise, that's a transactional database requirement, that we want to have a more transactional database. That means a SQL database. That's a relational type. So you do have the customer information in the customer table, item informations are in the item table, and you want to have the for that you want to generate the item. So I have bought three different items. You have to retrieve all the items, line discount, this and that, so everything, and you have to generate me the total and show me the invoice. Likewise, that's the scenario. So for that, we want the relational database. But in order just to show me the menu, they use the document database. Now, this data is available in two different places. So what happens? Uh, so this is a perfect example of polyglot persistence based on the business requirements. Sometimes we are querying a document database. Sometimes we are querying a relational database. But these data, two types of databases, we have to have some synchronization between the data. So I am going to change. So as the admin, I am going to change price of one item. So for that, I'm going to do that. Let's assume I'm going to do that in my relational database, SQL database, because that's the transactional database. When in the next minute, when a customer is going to buy that same item, he should be seeing the updated price. So because of that, I'm going to do that in the relational side, SQL database. But I want to update my document database as well. So there should be someone who would be doing that. So for that, we can use a Azure queue. It's like the concept of Azure Service Bus. So you are telling item AAB price has been changed. You are telling that to the queue. You are sending that message into the queue. So it's a message bus queue or message queue, RabbitMQ, like service broker. So all of these patterns and the names are based on this little queue. So it's basically the Azure, it's basically the relational database is going to publish some message into the queue. So there are some subscribers. One subscriber is that document database. So he needs to have the latest information, latest price details. So we can for a kind of a scenario like that, we can use Azure queues. So it's really useful for these multiple services or multiple components to use these queues for queuing their data in the part of for the development, for the reads and for the writes. Okay, so that's about these types of storages that we do have. And in earlier days, like few years back, so we used to store these Azure virtual machines in a blob storage, but we are not doing that now. We are using Azure managed disks. If we have any virtual machines, we are like saving that image in a Azure managed disk without saving that in Azure blob storage. But under the hood in the Azure managed disk, it's going to use the blob storage. Okay, so now let's go into the next slide. So here, this is about the uh, redundancy option. So when we were creating our storage account, that's done. So if we go into this resource, so we created this under LRS, locally redundant storage. That's the replication type we selected. So but more than that, we do have these redundancy options available. So most of the customers, why they are coming to Azure without just leaving on premises is because to have the high availability and these redundancy options, because replication is required when something unexpectedly happens, like a natural disaster, kind of a thing, when the server goes down in an emergency. So these big applications, any application, that they don't want the customers let down. If you don't have commercial banking website, commercial bank mobile banking site is down, that's a problem for us, right? So any business needs this data replication strategies planned very well. So here, uh, so with this data replicates, we want to have at least two of the copies available, so we can recover from a physical failure. uh, if the data is written, so we do have two copies, we can recover from a physical failure if the data is written synchronously, when this copy is getting updated at the same time, in the same, without any delay, within the same latency, data is written synchronously to the next copy. So uh, we can do that, right to its replication copy at the same time. For read, you will not. So once this goes down, for read, you will not realize when a one replica goes down. It will be redirecting to the other replica from the with the redundancy option that we have selected. So that's the beauty of that. We don't have to do any load balancing. No, this A server goes down, redirect to B. We don't have to write that. It will be redirecting automatically to the other replica available. So we do have these four options, redundancy options. First one is obviously this the less expensive one, locally redundant storage. So we do have a Azure region. We use the Southeast Asia region. In there, we do have availability zones. In Singapore, we do have three different places. So with this green cylinder, we do have availability zones, at least like three of them, uh, in a region, in some regions in Singapore, yes, Southeast Asia. So we do have availability zones, three availability zones in a region. But in LRS, local redundant storage, we are talking about one availability zone. Data is only available, even though we do have three availability zone in Southeast Asia region, we are talking about a one availability zone in LRS. Your data will be available only in one availability zone, but you do have three copies. Data is getting replicated to three different copies. So uh, availability zone means, if you have three availability zone in Singapore, that means uh, these three are physically separated data center in a physically separated three data centers in a region that has independent power, that and also cooling and network, because oops, so because in one availability zone, if the power goes down, if the network is not working, so the other two is there because they do have the independent power and cooling and network system. So because of that, why we want to have this independent power and the network stuff for availability, for these availability zones. But with LRS, just that's the less expensive, that's available in one availability zone, but it's replicated into three different partitions, let's say just partition disks. So that's the cheapest. If you encounter if we encounter any disk or rack failure within the this availability zone in Southeast Asia region, then we can recover from that disk or but rack failure. And also the now I'm going to the second one, zone redundant storage. This one in there, so we do have these three availability zones are in the picture now, because now we are going to just upgraded from LRS to zone redundancy. So with this we do have the independent cooling, network and power, and also these three are synchronously with these purple arrows. Synchronously they are writing data into the those availability zones. And the network between these availability zones are connected with the high speed and low latency network. For the increased high availability, we want to have the high availability and fault tolerance. Because of that, we do have the synchronous writes with lower latency. That's the zone redundancy. So in zone redundancy, we can get protected from a single rack or disk failure, and also plus we can protected from an entire availability zone failure as well. The next one is geo redundant storage. This one there, that's between two different regions like Southeast Asia and maybe a data center Azure region in Europe. Let's say like some UK South. So we do have Southeast Asia region and the UK South region as region 1 and region 2. And in there also we do have availability zones, three availability zones. Synchronously data is getting written. And for the next region, we are going to write data asynchronously. So that means once it's there's a small latency, small delay is there. If this region gets down, sometimes the region 2 is not 100% up to date. So within the data center, data is written synchronously, but asynchronously is going to replicate it to the paired region. So that's there in the geo-redundant storage. But if the whole region goes down in Southeast Asia, then no problem. The customers can be served from the UK region. And then we do have the geo zone redundant storage, that's combining zone redundant plus geo redundant storage. So here we do have the three availability zones, and in there synchronously data is getting written, and then for the next region asynchronously data is replicated. So data is written synchronously across three data centers within the primary region. Then that's replicated asynchronously to the paired region. So we'll be having a like delay when writing to the paired region, like that's going to depend on the size and the type of the data based on the volume of the data, that can go up to like 15 minutes even. Okay, then we can go to the demo. Okay, so those are the redundancy options. Now then we can go to the demo. So we already created a Blob storage account and we are yet to upload a file. So we'll go there. This is the first pane of the storage account. That's the overview section. We do have all these resource specific information here. Uh, and then there are some tabs: properties, monitoring, capability stuff. And as we walk through, we do have the blob service, file service, queue, or whether the table service available. So here, if I go into the data storage and containers, so I'm just trying to upload some pictures from pictures to this Colombo architecture uh, storage account. So I am trying to create something called container. Container is mostly like a folder in our file system. So I will be creating a container like sceneries. And it says I this is about the access level, who can view the data. So it says the access level is set to private because of that we don't have the anonymous access level. So I'm just trying to change that. So we can go to overview. So if you can see here, blob anonymous access is disabled. So I want to enable it and say save. And then I want to go into the containers, give it, yep, it's all good. So now I will create a container like sceneries. Why it's, oh, I will say create. Let's see. Yeah, it's still private. I will try to change the access level. So it's access level private, but I want to view whatever the files available from the outside, from the whoever reaches out. So I can go with blob or container. So blob container means so we are going to create different containers. The uh, what whoever is going to access will be can view the container names and what's available inside the container both. So I'm just going for that. Why it's saying is it still seems like it's still disabled. I will say uh, secure blob anonymous access enabled. Oh, what's happening there? Give me a moment. Look, now it says enabled. Now I will go and try to change this private container and say okay. Seems it's working. So now it says anonymous access level container. So I will go here and I will try to upload an image, but obviously not something in Colombo. I couldn't take some of the nice sceneries. Just googled it. So I will upload it. Yep. So yes. So we would be able to get the URL. So whoever is trying to access, they can just view this picture. So that's about we created the storage account and uploaded the file. And then I will tell you about the blob container configuration, this hot, cool access tiers. So we little bit talked about that when we were creating this. So if you just go here and say configuration, so you would be able to see the access tiers that we have gone to hot, and we do have different tiers: hot, cool, cold, and archive as well. So if so it's a like a waste of money if you don't want to have frequent access of some of the files. If you don't want to have the frequent access of some of the files, it's no point of keeping them in the hot tier. So sometimes then there's a requirement that we after 2-3 months we can move these files into another tier like cool, cold, or archive. So in order to facilitate that, Azure has some nice feature, that's the storage rule. So we can create a storage rule in storage lifecycle management. So I'm trying to do that. So I'm just going to the data storage stuff we just discussed, the security networking. This is the data management. So under that we do have life cycle management there. So we can create a rule. So I'm just going to create a rule. uh, Remove unwanted files from the storage. Remove or downgrade, we can say. Downgrade. So we can apply this to all the blobs, all emit blobs with filters. I'm just say all the blobs and say next. And then we can have the designer to generate our rule. So we can say if the last modified is like a month ago, then we can say okay, it's no, we don't want to have that in the hot tier, we'll move it to the cool storage. Okay, and then we can add a condition like if that's like more than maybe 3 months, then we can say uh, we can just move to the cold storage. And then we can add a condition, if this is no longer accessed for an year, then we can ask this to keep move that into the archive state. And then if this is no longer accessed for like let's say 2 years, like let's say 500 days, then we can say delete the blob, and we can add this rule. So this is a nice way of keeping your files and your expenses, your the charges for the Azure bill is getting smoother when the requirements are getting changed. And then the other one I'm going to talk about is about the Azure file share. So we can just put our all the type of files in a file share. So we can do that here. So if we just say file share, under data storage we do have, so we can ask to create a file share. We can give a name like mm, Colombo wallpapers. This is more into the transaction optimized. Uh, this is not for the transaction heavy workloads. This is just to store some files. So based on your requirement, you can use hot or cool as well. And then we do have some capacity by default here, and I don't want to have backup, and we'll just review and create. So I will be creating this. They do have some backup available. It's going to run a backup daily. So while it's getting generated, I can upload some of my so this is my file share, so I can upload some of the stuff here. So I will upload these maybe these two JSON files and the image, and I will try to do that. So that's already there, it seems. And then I can connect to this from my local machine. So if I say connect, and so it allows you to connect to this file share from whatever the operating system you have. Since I do have Windows, I will say show script. Then this is going to show me a PowerShell script. What I want to do is I have to open a PowerShell window and just run this one. So the drive will be Z, and then that drive will be mounted into your machine. Yeah, it's seems like working. The credentials has been added. I still do have my demo drive, it seems. So I will say why, and I hope this has been updated with the drive Y, and then I will say drive Y. So let's check whether drive Y is mounted in my local machine. It seems yes, with this size. So what we can do is just can go into my Y drive. Let's see whether that works. I hope this is visible for you guys. Yeah, then if I check what are the things available here in the Y drive, the files that I have uploaded from Azure, we can see. So in here also you can create some folders. I will say will create that, and if I go into here and then browse, and I have the folder that I have created from my local machine. So we can do uh, this kind of cool stuff as well, just to like the just to replace the old SharePoint files, or maybe the SharePoint the OneDrive files that your organization has. We can move into a file share in storage account, and then another the other one is redundancy options. I will just try to do a demo on that. Yeah. So yeah, if I go into here, so the redundancy option under data management, we use the local redundant storage. So we just have a one primary region. We don't have a paired region. So now I want to add that. So I will go into the geo redundant, or this read access geo redundant. If I want to have a secondary region, I will just say geo redundant and save. uh, Once until that's done, try to go. I won't be able to go. So if I show you the storage endpoints, so it's we do have the primary endpoints we do have for the blob file, queues, tables, and data lake, and for the static website. So if I refresh this page, oh yeah. So now we do have the secondary region is also available. So if I click on this, usually I do have the secondary region endpoints as well, and I should this button should be visible for the prepare for failover, since we just created that the secondary region, so it will be taking some time to write whatever the data available from Singapore to Hong Kong, and then do have the proper synchronization and enable the failover button. So until that, I will just check. I did some few things here before the demo. Uh, the storage account should have that architectural buildings. Let me go there, and the redundancy. There we do have the read access geo redundant between the both regions. Then we do have the failover. If some failover happens, you can have the unplanned failover, and yes, and you can do the failover to the secondary region. And if we click on the storage endpoints, you can see, since this is read access geo redundant, it's not the GRS only. This has read access as well for the secondary region. That means even though there's no any failover, you can just route some of your users to the secondary region even though there's no failover. So that's what the read access geo redundant storage, and there you do have the secondary region endpoints as well available. So architecture building secondary, and this is just the primary region. Yeah, so that's about it. And then uh, this is something important about the security. So the network level protection, for that I will go into the resource that we created. Yeah, this one. So here if we move into the security, so this is networking. Public network access is enabled, and that's a anyone enabled from all networks is there. So that's not good. We want to have some access control. So for that we'll just create on that, and I want to say I want to enable access only for my company network. So some for some selected network. So you can can add your virtual networks, or else you can have your IPv4 address, IP addresses also you can add. So before that, I'll just go into here our container and try to access this file available. So we do have it. Yeah, so we do have it. That's available. Now I want to deny accessing these resources available in my storage account. So for that, I want to enable access only for some selected networks or selected IP addresses. Not on the public network access, it's the network access scope. So I will say enable from selected networks and save. Just do that and save. And then it's not be available for me to access. Still accessible, it seems. So if I go into here and refresh, yeah, it's there. Let's see. Yeah, it gives me authorization failure. So here, another thing what you can do is, so enable from selected network. I don't have any virtual network, and then because of that I want to have the access. Then I can add my IP, and also your subnet with your subnet mask and your CIDR you can add like 24 and then save. Then whoever comes with this IP will be able to access this. Then I will be going here and trying to do that. Should be available, but it will take some time. And IP addresses, let me check. Yeah, where IP address is there. Now that's accessible. So likewise, you have the freedom to stop or grant the access based on different networks and for the internet. And yeah, so that's what about the network security. And the other thing I want to show you is the access policies and keys. And then uh, this is the previously what we did was like based on the network security side, but this is more like resource level that we can generate some keys, and only with the key the resources will be able to access. And if I go into the access keys, so if you want to access the files available in the storage account, you can use these keys and the connection string. So if I show you the connection string here, this is the connection string with the account name, and there's a key. With this key from your web application, so from the outside, you would be able to access this. And why do we have these two keys is like if this key is compromised, then there's no way of accessing the application. If you regenerate this one, so there's option to regenerate rotate key. If you rotate key, so you would be able to so the intruder or the whoever the unauthorized people will not be able to access. And in case of a failure, in case of compromising your key, until you do the rotate key, you can access the key with the key 2. So that's why these two keys are available for a storage account. And then I will go to the shared access signature. So in there you have the type of services we do have, and with the permissions like read, write, create new files, delete any files. Likewise with, so this is like a permission matrix for your the resources available in there, so you can do mix matches, mix in and stuff and generate the key. So the same thing we can do from the storage browser blob container, and here you can just click on this one and say uh, generates SaaS shared access signature, and then you can provide whether it's HTTPS only and when that key is getting expired and what are the permissions available. Likewise, you can just say things and say generate SaaS token and URL, and then you with this URL you would be able to access the image. So yeah, so likewise, you can do stuff to secure your files available in the storage account from the network side, and also for if you go into the container, for the whole container you can provide, you can ask for the permission. For the file level you can ask for the permission. Likewise you can do so many access restrictions to improve the security of the data available in the storage account. So, yep, that's all what I have planned for the today's session. I hope you could get something out of it, learn something new. So, with your Azure subscriptions, just go home and create some storage accounts, play with the blob storage queues, and do some redundancy options. Secure your storage accounts with network level protection and creating some access keys as well. So, yep, I hope you had a nice session. So, thank you very much for joining with me.
Thank you, madam, for that eye-opening session. Before we move on, we would like to take a moment to present a token of appreciation to Mrs. Hansamali Gamage, on behalf of the Microsoft Student Club of Wellassa University. We truly appreciate the time and effort you have taken to share your valuable knowledge and real world experiences with us today. Once again, and your journey and expertise have certainly sparked a deeper curiosity and motivation in all of us here today. Now, to formally express our gratitude, I'd like to invite President of Microsoft Student Club of Wellassa University, Abhishek Hatrage, to deliver the vote of thanks.
So, good evening, everyone. On behalf of the Microsoft Eastern Club of Wellassa University, I want to give a big thank you, Ms. Hansamali Gamage, for this today's session. Madam, we are very grateful for the time you spent with us teaching about the Azure Storage and database services. Your clear explanation and real-world example made the topic easy and to understand, very motive for us as a student. And a big thank you as well the organizing committee for their effort and to everyone join and support this event. Your presence is what makes the session successful. Thanks once again, Ms. Ansamali Gamage, and thank you for being here. We're looking forward to see you in next our sessions. Thank you.
Thank you for those warm and thoughtful words. And with that, we officially conclude tonight's session of Innovate X. Once again, a big thank you to Mrs. Hansamali Gamage and also our organizing team. Stay curious and we'll see you in the next session. Thank you, everyone.